Yo, what is up everybody? It's your boy Reed, back with another banger video, and let me tell you, this one's a grand slam. We're diving deep into the world of Major League Baseball, talking about the absolute titans, the behemoths, the top 5 powerhouse teams of the last 15 years. We're talking about the teams that didn't just win, they dominated. The teams that lit up the scoreboard and broke records like it was nothing. Get ready for insane stats, clutch plays, and legendary moments that'll make you want to grab your glove and run out onto the field yourself. But it's not just about the teams, it's about the players, man. The guys who put their blood, sweat, and tears into every single game. We'll be talking about the MVPs, the Cy Young winners, the guys who made these teams legendary. So buckle up, smash that like button, and get ready to relive some of the greatest moments in baseball history. First up, we're heading back to 2015, to a time when the Kansas City Royals weren't just a team, they were a force of nature. They weren't the flashiest team, they didn't have the biggest names, but they had heart, they had hustle, and they played some of the most exciting baseball I've ever seen. You think about the Royals, you think about defense, man. They were like ninjas out there, turning double plays, robbing home runs, making the impossible look routine. And at the heart of that defense was catcher Salvador Perez. This guy was a wall behind the plate, a vacuum cleaner with the glove, and when he stepped up to bat, watch out. And then there was Alex Gordon, the captain, the leader, the guy who could do it all. He was a gold glove outfielder, making diving catches look easy, and at the plate, he was a clutch hitter, always coming through when it mattered most. But it wasn't just those two. This was a team effort, all the way. Eric Hosmer with the big hits, Lorenzo Cain flying all over the outfield, Wade Davis shutting the door in the 9th inning. They were a machine, man, firing on all cylinders. And the World Series, don't even get me started. Down 3-1 against the Mets, they clawed their way back, winning 3 straight to clinch the championship. The image of Wade Davis throwing that final strike, the crowd going absolutely bonkers, it still gives me chills. The 2015 Royals were more than just a team, they were a story about heart, determination, and the power of believing in yourself, even when no one else does. They proved that it's not about the size of your market, it's about the size of your fight. Alright, we're moving on to 2016, and this one's for all you Cubs fans out there. For over a century, the Chicago Cubs carried the weight of history on their shoulders, the infamous curse of the Billy Goat hanging over them like a dark cloud. But in 2016, this group of young, hungry players, they said enough is enough. Led by the dynamic duo of Chris Bryant and Anthony Rizzo, the Cubs were an offensive juggernaut. Bryant, with his rocket arm from third base and his towering home runs, was the Rookie of the Year just the season before, and he was just getting started. And Rizzo, the heart and soul of that team, was a hitting machine, driving in runs left and right. But it wasn't just those two, this team was stacked. You had Javier Baez flashing the leather at second base and hitting clutch home runs, Kyle Schwarber getting on base every other at-bat, and John Lester and Kyle Hendricks anchoring that pitching staff. And then there was the World Series, a nail-biting, edge-of-your-seat thriller against the Cleveland Indians. Down 3-1, just like the Royals the year before, the Cubs battled back, winning 3 straight to force a Game 7 for the ages. That final game, man, it had everything. Lead changes, extra innings, a rain delay that felt like an eternity. But in the end, the Cubs pulled it off, breaking the curse and sending the city of Chicago into a frenzy. The celebrations went on for days, man, and rightfully so. The 2016 Cubs were more than just a team, they were a symbol of hope. A symbol that even the longest droughts can end, that even the most impossible dreams can come true. They taught us that sometimes the greatest victories are the ones that take the longest to achieve. Next up, we're heading to Beantown, to the city of Boston, where the Red Sox were busy making history in 2018. This team was an offensive powerhouse, smashing home runs left and right, leaving opposing pitchers shaking their heads in disbelief. Leading the charge was the electrifying Mookie Betts. This guy was a 5-tool player, man. He could hit for power, he could hit for average, he could steal bases, he could play Gold Glove defense in right field, he could do it all. And he was the spark plug that ignited that Red Sox offense. And then there was the slugger, J.D. Martinez. This guy was brought in to hit bombs, and boy did he deliver. He mashed home runs at a record pace, driving in runs like it was his job, which I guess it was. Together, Betts and Martinez formed one of the most feared duos in baseball. But it wasn't just them. This Red Sox team was deep. You had Xander Bogaerts and Rafael Devers holding down the left side of the infield, Andrew Benintendi getting on base and playing stellar defense in left field, and Chris Sale racking up strikeouts like it was nothing. They cruised through the regular season, winning over 100 games, and then they carried that momentum into the playoffs, where they faced off against some tough competition. But the Red Sox, they were on a mission, and they weren't going to be denied. In the World Series, they faced off against the Los Angeles Dodgers, and it was a hard-fought battle. But in the end, the Red Sox emerged victorious, clinching their fourth World Series title in 15 years. The city of Boston went wild, and the Duck Boat Parade was one for the ages. We're going back to the Bronx, baby. The year is 2009, and the New York Yankees, the Bronx Bombers, they were back on top of the baseball world. This team was stacked with talent from top to bottom, and they were on a mission to bring another championship back to the Bronx. Leading the charge was the captain, Derek Jeter. The heart and soul of the Yankees, Jeter was in his prime, hitting for average, stealing bases, making incredible plays at shortstop, and leading by example. He was the epitome of clutch, always coming through when it mattered most. And then there was A-Rod, Alex Rodriguez, one of the most feared hitters in baseball history. He was a home run machine, driving in runs like it was nothing and striking fear into the hearts of opposing pitchers. But it wasn't just those two. This Yankees team was loaded. You had Mark Teixeira driving in runs, Robinson Cano hitting for average and playing stellar defense at second base, and CeCe Sabathia and Andy Pettitte anchoring that pitching staff. They dominated the regular season, winning over 100 games, and then they carried that momentum into the playoffs, where they faced off against some tough competition. But the Yankees, they were on a mission, and they weren't going to be denied. In the World Series, they faced off against the Philadelphia Phillies, a team that had knocked them off just a couple of years before. But this time, the Yankees were ready, and they took care of business, winning the series in 6 games. The celebration at Yankee Stadium was electric, as the Bronx Bombers had reclaimed their throne as World Series champions. It was a season to remember, a season that cemented this team's place in Yankee lore. Before we move on to our final team, make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on more epic sports content like this. Finally, we arrive in the Bay Area, where the San Francisco Giants were busy building a dynasty on the back of their dominant pitching staff. In 2010, they shocked the baseball world, riding their arms all the way to a World Series title. At the heart of that pitching staff was a young, lanky left-hander named Madison Bumgarner. This guy was unflappable, man, with ice water in his veins. He pitched with a ferocity and determination that belied his years, shutting down opposing hitters with his devastating fastball and wipeout slider. And then there was the veteran, Matt Cain. He was the workhorse of that staff, eating up innings and giving the Giants a chance to win every time he stepped on the mound. Together, Bumgarner and Cain formed a formidable duo, leading the Giants' pitching staff to historic heights. But it wasn't just those two. This Giants team had pitching depth for days. You had Tim Lincecum, the 2-time Cy Young winner, still throwing fire, and Brian Wilson, the eccentric closer, slamming the door shut with his beard flowing in the wind. And while the pitching was the story of this team, they couldn't have done it without their offense, led by the young catcher, Buster Posey. He was a hitting machine, driving in runs and providing a steady presence behind the plate. They battled their way through the regular season, winning a tough NL West division, and then they got hot at the right time in the playoffs, riding their pitching all the way to the World Series. In the Fall Classic, they faced off against the Texas Rangers, a team that had never won a World Series title. The Giants, with their dominant pitching and timely hitting, proved to be too much for the Rangers, winning the series in 5 games. The celebration at AT&T Park was one for the ages, as the Giants faithful celebrated their first World Series title since 1954. It was a magical season, a season that cemented this team's place in Giants lore. So there you have it, folks, the top 5 MLB powerhouse teams of the last 15 years. From the Royals' incredible comeback to the Cubs' historic championship, from the Red Sox's offensive explosion to the Yankees' return to glory, and the Giants' pitching dominance, these teams left an unforgettable mark on baseball history. Now I want to hear from you. Which one of these teams was your favorite? Let me know in the comments down below. And while you're at it, make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on more epic sports content like this. And as always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this video with your friends. Peace out.